Welcome back to Podcast AI. I'm Donna, and today I'm absolutely thrilled to have Yakov Lasker joining us. Yakov, you've been diving deep into how AI is completely reshaping human resources, and honestly, some of the stuff you've uncovered sounds like science fiction.
Donna, it really does. But here's the thing that blew my mind. Imagine this scenario. It's 8 a.m., and instead of drowning in emails, an HR chief gets an alert that says, "Hey, your star engineering team has a 40% chance of quitting in the next 90 days." Not because someone complained, not because of exit interviews, but because AI detected subtle changes in their communication patterns and collaboration levels.
Wait, what? The AI is basically reading the room before anyone even knows there's a problem?
Exactly. And this isn't some distant future. This is happening right now. We're talking about the birth of what experts are calling the attentive organization.
Okay, I'm hooked. Because honestly, when I think of HR and AI, I picture robots filing paperwork. But you're describing something that sounds way more human?
That's the beautiful irony here, Donna. AI isn't making HR less human. It's actually freeing HR professionals to be more human. Think about it like this. If you're a doctor, would you rather spend your day filling out insurance forms or actually diagnosing and treating patients?
Right. The paperwork versus the actual care.
Exactly. And right now, HR departments are drowning in what the research calls the tyranny of the transactional. There's this case study from a UK company where implementing an AI payroll platform took tasks that used to consume entire days and shrunk them down to a single hour.
That's insane. But here's what I'm wondering. If AI is doing all this administrative stuff, what happens to the people who used to do those jobs?
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. McKinsey has this concept called superagency. Basically, AI doesn't just do the old work faster. It amplifies human creativity and lets people perform entirely new functions they never could before.
So it's not replacement, it's amplification?
Think of it like giving someone a telescope. They're still the one doing the looking and making sense of what they see. But suddenly, they can see so much further than before.
Okay, so if HR leaders are getting these superpowers, what exactly are they supposed to do with them?
This is where the research gets really specific. The new HR leader needs to master three completely different roles. First, they become what's called a data strategist.
Meaning what exactly?
Instead of just reporting that turnover went up last quarter, they're using predictive models to say, based on current patterns, we're going to lose Sarah from accounting in 6 weeks unless we address her career development concerns. IBM claims their AI can predict employee performance with 96% accuracy.
Hold up, 96%? That sounds almost too good to be true.
I know, right? But here's the thing. They're not reading minds. They're analyzing thousands of tiny signals, email response times, collaboration patterns, even how people phrase their messages in Slack. Think about it like this. You probably know when your best friend is having a bad day just from how they text you, right? You pick up on subtle changes in tone, response time, word choice.
Yeah, absolutely. If they're usually sending me paragraphs and suddenly it's just K responses, something's up.
Exactly. Now imagine scaling that human intuition across thousands of employees using natural language processing. The AI is looking for patterns like decreased participation in meetings, shorter email responses, less collaboration on shared documents, changes in the sentiment of their written communication. It's like having an extremely sensitive early warning system that never sleeps.
But what kind of data are we talking about here? Because that's actually a little creepy when you think about it.
And you just hit on the second role, the ethical governor, because you're absolutely right to feel uncomfortable about that level of monitoring. This isn't just about implementing fancy technology, it's about fundamentally rethinking how we balance insight with privacy, prediction with autonomy.
Okay, so what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, first, there are the horror stories to learn from. Amazon's recruiting AI learned to automatically downgrade any resume containing the word women's, as in women's chess club captain. The algorithm basically taught itself to be sexist because it was trained on historical hiring data that reflected existing biases.
Oh, wow. So the AI didn't create the bias, it just amplified what was already there?
Exactly. And that's happening everywhere. There are algorithms that discriminate against older workers because they correlate certain technology skills with age, others that penalize people for living in certain zip codes. The ethical governor role means creating governance frameworks that include regular bias audits, demanding transparency from AI vendors about how their algorithms work, and establishing clear policies about what data can and cannot be used.
So it's like being a watchdog for the entire organization?
More than that, they're becoming the organization's ethical compass for AI in the workplace. They're setting up review boards, creating policies around data minimization, that is only collecting what you actually need for legitimate business purposes, and establishing what researchers call human-in-the-loop requirements. Basically, ensuring that humans remain involved in sensitive decisions, especially around things like promotions, terminations, or performance evaluations.
Because you can't just let the robots decide people's careers.
Right? And this connects to the third role, which is where everything comes together: the experience architect. This is where all that data insight, filtered through ethical guardrails, gets used to actually design and personalize the entire employee journey.
Break that down for me. What does personalized employee journey actually mean?
Okay, let's start with onboarding. Traditionally, everyone gets the same checklist, right? Fill out these forms, attend these meetings, complete this training. But AI can analyze someone's background, role requirements, learning style preferences, and career goals to create a completely customized path. For a software engineer, maybe they skip the basic coding workshops, but get extra mentorship on company-specific architecture. For someone transitioning from another industry, maybe they get additional context about company culture and industry norms.
That's pretty cool, but does it actually work?
The numbers are striking. Companies using AI-powered personalized onboarding report that it can increase new hire retention by 82% and shorten time to productivity by up to 67%. But it goes way beyond onboarding. Think about career development. Instead of generic annual reviews, the AI can continuously analyze someone's skill development, project contributions, and career interests to suggest specific opportunities, training programs, or even internal job rotations.
So it's like Netflix recommendations, but for your career?
That's actually a brilliant analogy. Just like Netflix looks at what you've watched, what you've rated, what similar users enjoyed, and suggests content you might like. These AI systems look at your skills, interests, performance patterns, and career trajectory to suggest opportunities that align with your growth path. Unilever's Future Leaders program does exactly this, using AI to match high-potential employees with mentorship opportunities, stretch assignments, and development programs that are specifically tailored to their individual profiles.
And this is where the employee value proposition completely changes, right?
Absolutely. Instead of companies saying, we're a place where you can grow, they can say, we're a place that will actively architect your specific growth journey using intelligent tools. The promise becomes much more concrete and personal. It's the difference between, we have a gym, and we have a personal trainer who knows exactly what you need to reach your fitness goals.
This all sounds amazing in theory, but how is this actually playing out in real companies?
Well, this is fascinating because we're seeing two completely different approaches emerge, and they're almost like parallel experiments in how far organizations should go with AI. IBM went with what I'll call the enhancement model. They automated the routine stuff but kept humans firmly in charge of strategy and relationship building.
Give me the specifics. What exactly did they do?
So, IBM built this internal platform called Ask HR. Think of it as a super intelligent chatbot that can handle employee questions. But we're not talking about simple FAQ responses. This thing now resolves 94% of employee HR inquiries completely without human intervention. We're talking about complex questions about benefits, policy interpretations, leave requests, even some performance review processes.
That's a lot of questions. What were HR people doing before if most of their work was answering the same questions over and over?
Exactly. And that's where the reallocation part of their model comes in. Instead of laying people off, IBM used the efficiency gains to hire more people for strategic roles. They took all that time that was being spent on repetitive inquiries and redirected it toward things like workforce planning, culture development, and personalized career coaching.
And how'd that work out for them financially?
Here's the kicker. They reported a $3.5 billion increase in productivity over 2 years. But what's really interesting is that they also implemented Watson Analytics for what they call performance prediction. Their system claims to predict future employee performance with 96% accuracy by analyzing patterns in current work output, collaboration metrics, skill development trajectories, and even communication styles.
Okay, but that sounds like they're basically scoring employees like credit ratings. How do people feel about that?
That's the crucial question, and IBM seems to be handling it by being transparent about what data they're using and ensuring that humans are always involved in final decisions. The AI provides insights, but managers still make the calls about promotions, assignments, and development opportunities. It's augmentation, not replacement of human judgment.
So that's one approach. What's this Moderna situation you mentioned?
Oh, Moderna went completely in the opposite direction. They made a radical structural change. They merged their HR and IT departments under a single executive called the Chief People and Digital Technology Officer. Essentially, they're treating human resources and technology resources as the same strategic function,
Wait, they combined HR and IT? That seems like mixing oil and water.
right? It's a bold move that reflects their belief that people's strategy and technology strategy are so intertwined now that they can't be separated. But here's where it gets really wild. They partnered deeply with OpenAI and built over 3,000 custom AI tools for their organization.
3,000? That's not a pilot program, that's a complete digital transformation.
Exactly. And one of their most controversial tools is what they call a virtual HR AI agent that essentially replaces junior-level HR analyst roles. Think about all those tasks that entry-level HR people typically do. Initial resume screening, basic policy questions, scheduling interviews, processing routine requests. Their AI handles most of that automatically.
So actual people lost their jobs?
This is where Moderna's approach gets complicated. They're simultaneously eliminating some roles while creating others, and they're redesigning workflows so fundamentally that it's hard to do a straight comparison. But the researchers who studied their model are concerned about what they call over-automating human-centric functions where empathy and nuance are required.
What does that mean in practice?
Well, think about someone going through a personal crisis, maybe a family emergency or mental health struggle. Do you want an AI chatbot handling that conversation? Or do you want a human who can read between the lines, show genuine empathy, and make nuanced decisions about support and accommodations?
Yeah, there's definitely a line there. But I'm curious about the results. Is Moderna's approach actually working?
That's the million-dollar question. They're reporting significant efficiency gains and faster decision-making. But they're also dealing with what some employees describe as a more impersonal work environment. It's like they've optimized for speed and consistency, but may have lost some of the human touch that makes people feel valued and understood.
So we've got IBM saying AI makes us more human, and Moderna saying AI replaces the human stuff. Those are pretty different philosophies.
Exactly. And here's what's fascinating. Both approaches are working financially, at least in the short term. IBM's model seems more sustainable culturally, but Moderna's model might be more competitive in terms of pure efficiency and cost reduction. The question is which approach will actually retain top talent and maintain innovation over the long haul.
And I'm guessing this decision isn't just about HR. It's really about what kind of company you want to be.
You've hit the nail on the head. IBM's approach reflects a belief that competitive advantage comes from empowering humans with better tools. Moderna's approach reflects a belief that competitive advantage comes from reimagining work itself through technology. These aren't just different HR strategies. They're different philosophies about the future of work entirely.
Speaking of the next 5 years, what's coming down the pipeline that's going to blow our minds?
Oh, Donna, this is where it gets wild. Gartner is making some predictions that are honestly keeping HR executives up at night. The first big one is that AI will eliminate a significant portion of middle management roles. And I mean really significant. We're not talking about trimming around the edges.
Okay, break that down for me. What exactly does middle management do that AI could replace?
Great question. Think about what a typical middle manager spends their day doing: tracking team performance metrics, writing status reports, conducting routine check-ins, identifying who needs additional training, flagging potential problems before they escalate to senior leadership. A lot of it is essentially pattern recognition and information synthesis.
Right, they're kind of like human dashboards in a way.
Exactly. And AI is getting really good at dashboard functions. For example, AI can continuously monitor productivity metrics, communication patterns, project completion rates, and team collaboration scores. It can automatically flag when someone's performance is declining, when project timelines are at risk, or when team dynamics seem strained. It can even draft preliminary performance reviews based on objective data about goal completion and peer feedback.
But surely there's more to management than just tracking numbers.
Absolutely, and this is where it gets nuanced. The parts of management that involve complex interpersonal dynamics, strategic thinking, creative problem solving, and emotional intelligence. Those are still very much human territory. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of middle management roles have become bureaucratic bottlenecks rather than value-adding positions.
Meaning what exactly?
Well, how many meetings have you been in where the manager's primary function was to collect updates from each team member and then package that information for the next level up? AI can do that continuously and automatically. How often do managers spend time on scheduling, resource allocation, and progress tracking that could be handled by intelligent systems?
So we're talking about eliminating the administrative parts of management. But what happens to the actual people leadership aspects?
This is the crucial question, and organizations are going to handle it differently. Some will create flatter hierarchies where senior leaders work more directly with individual contributors, with AI handling the coordination and tracking functions. Others might evolve middle management roles into more specialized positions, like team coaches, culture champions, or innovation facilitators, roles that are inherently human-centric.
That's that's a lot of people who might need to find new roles. What's the scale we're talking about here?
The research suggests this could affect millions of jobs across industries. But here's what's interesting. Companies like IBM that are thinking strategically about this transition are already retraining their middle managers for higher value roles. Instead of managing routine operations, they're becoming strategic advisors, culture builders, and innovation leaders. The key is whether organizations plan for this transition or just let it happen chaotically.
And I'm guessing that's not even the weirdest prediction?
Not even close. The second major prediction is about what they're calling digital personas. Essentially, AI-powered virtual representations of employees based on their work patterns, knowledge, and communication styles.
Okay, that officially sounds like science fiction. Are we talking about digital ghosts of employees?
It's more sophisticated than that, but equally mind-bending. Imagine this. Over time, AI systems learn not just what tasks you complete, but how you approach problems, what your decision-making patterns are, what knowledge you bring to different situations, even how you communicate and collaborate with different types of people.
So it's like creating a professional clone of someone?
In a way, yes. The AI could potentially capture your institutional knowledge, your problem-solving methodologies, your network of relationships, and even your communication style. So when you're on vacation, or even after you leave the company. This digital persona could continue to provide insights, answer questions, or even contribute to projects in ways that reflect how you would have approached them.
That's fascinating and terrifying at the same time. What are the implications of that?
The implications are staggering. First, there's the intellectual property question. If an AI system learns your professional expertise and approach, who owns that? Is it yours because it's based on your knowledge and experience? Is it the company's because they provided the platform and data? What happens when you leave for a competitor?
And what about privacy? I mean, this digital persona would know everything about how I work, think, and interact professionally.
Exactly. And it goes deeper than just privacy. There are questions about autonomy and consent. Could a company use your digital persona to make decisions or commitments on your behalf? Could they continue using it to replace your role, even while you're still employed? What if the AI version of you recommends something you actually disagree with?
This is making my head spin. How close are we to this actually happening?
Closer than you might think. Some companies are already experimenting with knowledge, capture systems that can learn from employee communications and work patterns. Microsoft's Copilot, for example, is already learning individual work styles and preferences. The leap to full digital personas is really just a matter of scale and sophistication.
All right. So, for our listeners who are sitting there thinking, this is fascinating, but what am I supposed to do with this information? What's the first step?
Start paying attention to the data you already have. Most organizations are sitting on gold mines of information. Employee surveys, performance reviews, communication patterns. But they're not connecting the dots. You don't need fancy AI to start looking for patterns.
So, it's less about the technology and more about the mindset?
Initially, yes. Ask yourself, what early warning signs am I missing? And how could I personalize the employee experience with the tools I have right now?
And for the bigger picture?
HR leaders need to claim their seat at the AI strategy table now. The research shows that 91% of executives think talent is critical to AI success, but only 21% of HR leaders are involved in shaping AI strategy. That gap is dangerous.
Because if you're not at the table, you're probably on the menu.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yakov, this has been absolutely mind-bending. I'm walking away thinking about AI completely differently. Not as this cold, mechanical thing, but as potentially the most human-friendly technology we've ever developed, if we do it right.
That's the key phrase, if we do it right. Because the technology itself is neutral, it's the human choices about how to implement it that will determine whether we end up with workplaces that are more humane or less humane.
So the future of work isn't really about AI at all. It's about human wisdom.
Now you're getting it.
Folks, if this conversation has you rethinking everything you thought you knew about AI and work, you're not alone. Thanks for joining us on Podcast AI. And remember, the future isn't something that happens to us, it's something we actively create.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep putting humanity at the center of innovation.
See you next episode.